Hi, this is Munson from Munson Music, and we're going to talk about how you can play a song by the Beatles called Something. And we're going to start off with kind of that lead guitar lick at the very, very beginning, where you can play 10th fret on the B string, 8th fret on the high E string, 10th fret on the B string, 11 on the B string, and then 12 on the B string, and then you end up on 13 on the B string. So you're kind of playing A, C, A sharp, B, C. It's kind of that intro lick. And that lick comes back later on, but the chords that would back up that lick start on an F major chord. And there's a couple different ways you may want to think about playing F major. Normally you do this as a first fret bar, second finger on the G string, 2nd fret, third finger on the A string, 3rd fret, and the pinky on the D string, 3rd fret. And if you strum all those together, that sounds an F major chord. That sounds really, really happy. Now a good substitute for that chord though can be something called F major 7. When you play F major 7, first finger goes to the B string on the 1st fret, second finger on the G string on the 2nd fret, and then third finger on the D string on the 3rd fret. And if you strum just the D, G, B, and E, then that sounds an F major 7 chord. It sounds kind of groovy, happy, in a Greg Brady kind of way. And then from the F, actually, then we're going to be going to an E flat major chord. And we're actually going to kind of do a really easy way to do E flat major. We'll be doing first finger on the G string, 3rd fret, second finger on the high E string on the 3rd fret, and the third finger on the B string on the 4th fret. And if you strum just the G, B, and E, then that sounds an E flat major chord. And then from the E flat major, we're going to go to a D major chord. If you already knew a D major, then you realize that this shape actually that we're on is a D shape. But the way you play D major, first finger goes to the G string, 2nd fret, second finger goes to the high E on the 2nd fret, third finger on the B string on the 3rd fret. And if you strum just the G, B, and E, or kind of getting a D string in on that too, that sounds a D major chord. And then we're going to end up kind of on our verse, and actually with that arrival point of the 13 on the B string, C note kind of gets backed up by a C major chord. When we play C major, first finger goes to the B string on the 1st fret, second finger on the D string on the 2nd fret, and then third finger on the A string on the 3rd fret. And if you strum the A string to the high E string, that sounds a C major. So that whole intro part, you've got kind of the F, da, 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 E flat, D, C. It's kind of that intro part. Now from there though, and on that part, there are a couple different strum patterns you may want to think about using to kind of back up that part. Actually, one of my favorite strum patterns for a 4/4 is a down, down, up, up, down, up. So randomly, if you took the F and just tried that a lot, you'd have down, down, up, down, up, down, down, up, down, up, down, down, up, down, up, down, down, up, down, up. So one way to work the intro with that pattern is to do kind of a down, down, up on the F, and then go to the E flat for a down, D for a down, and then we kind of be going into our C chord. Now another strum pattern actually that I think matches the tune a little bit better is something called the 16th note strum pattern. And what I mean by that is if you're tapping your foot to the beat, right now with our down, down, up, down, up, we're dividing that into 2 parts. 1, 2, 1, 2, and that's called an 8th note. What a 16th note is where you divide that beat into 4 parts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And one of my favorite 16th note strum patterns to work with is a long down, 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 up, down, down, up, down, up. And what I mean by that is if you take the F and do it down for 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. That's what you're doing on the first beat. Then on the second beat, you're doing a down on 1, down on 3, up on 4. So you're going 1, 2, 3, 4, down, down, up, down, down, up, down, down, up. And then on the third beat, you're doing an up on 2, down on 3. So you're going 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, up, down, 1, up, down, 1, up, down. And then on the last beat, you're going down, up, right along with the 1, 2, 3, 4. So you got down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. So all together, you got down, 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 up, down, down, up, down, up, down, 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 up, down, down, up, down, up, down, 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 up, down, down, up, down, up, down, 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 up, down, down, up, down, up. Now through that intro part, you could do kind of a down, 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 up on the F, and then this is kind of a cool variation of that pattern. Is you could do the E flat with kind of a down, down, up, D with a down, down, up, kind of lead into the C. So you'd have an F with a down, 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 E flat, D, kind of working it into that. And then from that intro, then we go into our verse part. Now, verse starts on C major, but then we go to something called C major 7. And the way you play C major 7, first finger, you just lift off the first finger of the beat of the C chord. So now I got second finger on the D string, second, third finger on the A string third, and that sounds something called C major 7, which sounds really groovy happy. And then from the C major 7, we're going to be going to a C7 or a C dominant 7. And the way you play C7, first finger goes back to the B string first fret, second finger stays on the D string second, third finger stays on the A string third. But then you take the pinky and kind of go to the G string on the third fret. And if you strum the A string to the high E string, that sounds a C7 chord. That sounds really, really nasty. It's kind of supposed to. And then from the C7, we're going to be going to an F major chord. But then there's kind of this cool little change to something called F/E, which means you've got an F major chord with an E in the bass. So if you're doing the bar F, if you kind of lift off the first finger, just a little bit off the E string. So I'm still kind of covering the E and the B string with my bar, but I'm trying to get the open E string actually kind of into an F chord. That's something called F/E. If you're doing the F major 7, a good way to kind of work that is to kind of take the second finger and kind of go to the D string on the second fret. If you strum the D string to the high E string, that'll kind of get you that same E note. So F/E is kind of that change there. And then we go to our D major chord, but then we end up on a G major chord. And when we play G major, first finger goes to the A on the second fret, second finger on the low E string on the third fret, and the third finger on the high E string on the third fret. And if you strum all those together, it sounds a G major chord that sounds really, really happy. And actually on that G, there's this really cool lick where you could kind of play the low E string, open G, open B, open A, open G, and then open B, and then second on the A, and then open G, and then open B. So it's almost like this little bass wall, G, A, B, with kind of the open G and B kind of added in after each one. So you may want to kind of think about using that. That could be a cool lick to kind of try. Now if you're taking the down, down, up, down, and applying it to our verse though, the one weird part is where we got that F to the F/E. And on that part you could do kind of F with the down, down, up, and then do the F/E for a down up at the very end of that measure. So we tried it that way. We'd have C with a down, down, up, C major 7, down, down, C7, down, up, F, down, up, F/E, down, up, and then we go to D, down, up, down, G, down, up, down. Or if we tried that with our 16th pattern, we'd have C with a down, down, up, down, C major 7, down, up, down, C7, down, up, down, and then we have the F with a down, up, down, but then we got the down, up, kind of for our F/E, and then we got D, down, up, down, G, down, up, and then from there, then we'd be going into our pre-chorus part, and our pre-chorus starts on an A minor chord, and we play A minor. First finger goes to the B string on the first fret, second finger on the D string on the second fret, third finger on the G string on the second fret. And if you strum all those together, that sounds an A minor chord, and it sounds really, really sad. And then from the A minor, actually, this is kind of cool, actually. The bass note is actually going to a G sharp note on the low E string. But we could use an E major chord to back that note up. So you could go first finger on the G string first fret, second finger on the A string on the second fret, third finger on the D string on the second fret. If you strum all those together, that sounds an E major chord, and it sounds really, really happy. Now another possibility is if you lift off the third finger of that, that's something called an E7 chord. And what that may make it a little bit easier too is if you wanted to get the pinky to go to that fourth fret on the low E string, that would be something called E7/G sharp, or an E7 chord with a G sharp in the bass. And then from the E7/G sharp, we go to a G major chord. And then we go to a D major chord, but the bass note's actually kind of doing an F sharp in the low E string. So you may want to do something called D/F sharp. And there's a couple different ways to play that. You can do first finger on the low E string second fret, second finger on the G string second fret, third finger on the high E second fret, pinky on the B string on the third fret. If you strum all those together, that sounds a D/F sharp, or D with an F sharp in the bass. Now you may also want to take just the regular D that we were talking about, put your thumb on the low E string second. That's another way that you can play D/F sharp. And then from there, then we go into kind of our intro return, actually we kind of have that coming back. So the weird part through our pre-chorus is all our chords are kind of halved. And what it really kind of sounds like in the recording is that you would do kind of 4 downs on each one. So so you could kind of try it that way. A minor, 2, 3, 4, E, 2, 3, 4, G, 2, 3, 4, D, 2, 3, 4. And then we kind of jump back into our intro. Now you could do the down, down, up, up, down, up, and it would feel like you were halving it. So you do kind of a down, down, up on each one. A minor, E, down, up, G, down, down, up, G, down, down, up. Or if you're doing the 16th, you could do kind of a long down, 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 up on each one. And then you'd have A minor down, 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 E7, down, down, G, down, down, G, down, down, up. And then right after that, then we have kind of our intro return. So we're kind of back to that F with a down, down, up, E flat, D. Or you could use the 16th and have the F with a down, 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 up, E flat, D. Kind of through that part. Now, one other thing I would think about adding to the song, though, is bass notes. And a lot of times on the first down of the down, down, up, down, up, for instance, you could do a bass note for the chord. So, for instance, on the F major bar, you'd have the low E string for your bass. On the F major 7, you have your D string for your bass. So it's kind of a bass, down, up, down. On the E flat, you could kind of cheat a bass out of the G string. On the D chord, you'd have the D string for your bass. And then on the C chord, you'd have the A string for your bass. On the G, we'd have the low E string for the bass. On the E major chord, you'd have the low E string for the bass. And even if you're doing the E7 slash G sharp, you'd have the low E for the bass. And then on the D slash F sharp, you'd have the low E string for your bass. So we could kind of try getting that into the intro. Actually, you could do the F with kind of a bass, down, up, and then kind of do the E flat with down, down to kind of get some basses. Or if you're doing the 16th, you could almost kind of do it kind of as a bass. Down, down, E flat with a bass, down, up, D with a D bass, down, up, kind of idea. You know, kind of get some energy to kind of go into the next verse. So we tried our next verse with a bass, down, up, down, up. We'd have C with an A bass, down, up, down, C major 7 bass, down, up, down, C7 with an A bass, down, up, down, F with a bass, down, up, F slash E, D with a D bass, down, up, down, G with a low E bass, down, up, down, up. Or if we tried that with our 16th, we'd have C with an A bass, down, down, up, down, 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 C with major 7 with an A bass, down, 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 C7 with an A bass, down, 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 F with low E bass, down, 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 F slash E, D with a D bass, down, 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 G with low E bass, down, 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 down. And then from there, then we'd be going into our pre-chorus part. So we tried our pre-chorus with kind of a bass down up on each one. We'd have A minor with an A bass, down, up, E7 with low E bass, down, up, G with low E bass, down, up, D with a D bass, down, up. Or if we tried that with the 16th pattern, we have A minor with an A bass, down, E7 with low E bass, down, G with low E bass, down, G with low E bass, down, kind of get that walking bass line into that, kind of doing that D slash F sharp. And then from there, then we go back to kind of our intro. So we're back to kind of that F, E flat, D. But then we go to an A major. And when you play A major, first finger goes to the D string on the 2nd fret, second finger goes to the G string on the 2nd fret, and third finger goes to the B string on the 2nd fret. And if you strum all those together, that sounds an A major chord, and it sounds really, really happy. Major chord, and it sounds really, really happy. And on that A, right after that intro part, you could just kind of work on that with just kind of your down, down, up, down, up. Or we could do it with kind of a bass, down, up, down, up. Or we could do it with our 16th pattern, down, down, up, down, down, up, down. Or we could add basses to the 16th pattern. So it's kind of a little waiting A before we go into our bridge. And then on our bridge, we start on the A major, but then we go to something called A major 7. The way you play A major 7, first finger goes to the G on the 1st fret, second finger goes to the D on the 2nd fret, and third finger goes to the B string on the 2nd fret. And if you strum all those together, that sounds an A major 7 chord, and it sounds really, really happy. And then from the A major 7, we're going to be going to an F sharp minor chord. When we play F sharp minor, first finger goes across the entire 2nd fret, third finger on the A string 4th fret, pinky on the D string 4th fret. And if you strum all those together, it sounds like F sharp minor chord. It sounds really, really sad. Now you could also kind of lift off your pinky and make it an F sharp minor 7. If you don't want to do bar chords, then you could kind of try and make smaller versions of that chord by going over smaller or fewer strings. then from the F sharp minor, then we go to an E major chord, and then we go to a D major chord, and then we go to a G major chord, and then we go to an A major chord actually the first time through our bridge. And then we repeat all of that. We do A, and then the A major 7, F sharp minor 7, E major, and then the D major, and then the G major, and then we go to the C major chord. And actually on that first A, actually at the very, very end, there's this cool little bass lick where you could go open A, 4 on the low E, 3 on the low E, 2 on the low E, 1 on the low E, open A. So you're going A flat, G flat, F, E. It's kind of the cool Paul McCartney bass line through that. And then on the C chord, actually, that's kind of our second time through, there's a bass line there too, where you could play third on the A, second on the A, open A, third on the low E, and then open E, and then open D. So you're going C, B, A, G, E, D. It's kind of a cool little bass line to kind of work, and you might want to try and do kind of a down on the chord and then kind of jump into the bass line. Like on the A, you could do kind of a A, 4, 3, 2, 1, O. Or on the C, you could do kind of a down, 2, O, 3, O. O is kind of an accent on that. And so we tried our down, down up through our bridge. We'd end up halving a lot of our chords until we get to that A where we could do our lick. So we'd have an A with down, down, F, A major 7, down, F sharp minor, E, down, D, down, G, down, down, up A, 4, 3, 2, 1, O, A, down, up A major 7, down, F sharp minor, down, up E, down, up D, down, down, G, down, down, C, lick. Or we could do that with kind of bass notes, and on the A major you'd have the A string for your bass. On the A major 7 you'd have the A string for the bass. On the F sharp minor you'd have the low E string for the bass. On the low E string you'd have the low E string for the bass. And then on the D you got the D string for the bass, G you got the low E bass down. So we could kind of try it that way, and you have A with an A bass, down, up, A major 7 with an A bass, down, F sharp minor with low E bass, down, E with low E bass, down, D with a D bass, down, G with low E bass, down, A major 7, F sharp minor, E major, D major, G major, C major. Or we could try with our 16th pattern, and we have A with a down, 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 A major 7, down, down, F sharp minor, down, down, E, down, down, D, down, 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 G, down, 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 A, down, down, A major 7, down, down, F sharp minor, down, down, E major, down, down, D, down, 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 G, down, 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 C. So you want to kind of play around with that. And then from there, then we go into a solo part that's around our verse part. So it's kind of around that C major, C7, C7, F major, F/E, D, G. And if you wanted to kind of play through some of the solo licks through that part, and actually right after that we go back into kind of our pre-chorus. And that's kind of still part of this solo. Actually, it's kind of that the A major, E, G, D, and then we actually kind of hit our intro too. So the solo kind of goes through that entire part. But if you want to play some of those licks, you could go 12th fret on the D string, and then we do a hammer on the 14, and then we go 12 on the G, 14 on the D, and then 12 on the D string is kind of a hammer on. And then these are crazy bends, and yeah, this is a lot easier on electric, but you take 12 on the G string, and we got to do kind of bends there. If you're on an acoustic like me, I'd almost think about kind of doing hammer-ons to 14 instead of 12th fret bends, because I'm afraid I'll break a string. And then we go to the D on the 14, and then we do 12 to 14 as a hammer-on, and then 12 to 14 as a hammer on the G, and then 12 on the G, and then 12 on the G, and we do a slide to 14, and then 13 on the B, and then 13 on the B, and then 15 bend on the B string, and then 13 on the B, and then 14 on the G. So you got 12, 14, 12, 14, 12, 14, 12 bend, 14, 12, 14, 12, 14, 12, 12, 14, 13, 13, 15, bend, 13, 14. And then we go 14 on the G, and then 13 on the B twice, 14 on the G, 14 on the D, 12 on the G string twice, 14 on the D, and then we go to 12 on the A, and then 14 on the A, and then 12 on the A, and then 12 on the D, and then 11 on the G string twice, and then 12 on the B, and then 10 on the B, and then 2 10th fret bends on the B string, and then 12 on the G string. So we got 12, let's see how from that part, yeah. 14, 13, 13, 14, 14, 12, 12, 14, 12, 14, 12, 12, 11, 11, 12, 10, 10 bend, 10 bend, 12, 12. And then we go 12 on the G, 14 on the B, 13 on the B, 12 on the B, and then 12 on the high E, and then 11 on the high E, and then 10 on the high E. So 12, 14, 13, 12. And then we end up with wow, we go to the bend on the 7th fret on the G string, and then we go to the D string on the 10th fret, and we do that 3 times, and then we go to 9 on the G, 8 on the B, 8 on the high E string, and then 10th on the high E string is kind of a slide to 12, and then 10 on the high E twice, and then 8 on the high E, and then we go back into kind of our intro lick where we got that 10 on the B, 8 on the high E, 10 on the B, 11 on the B, 12 on the B, and then 13 on the B. So through the whole thing, you got 12, 14, 12, 14, 12, 14, 12, 12, 14, 12, 14, 12, 14, 12, 12, 14, 13, 13, 14, bend, 13, 14, 14, 13, 13, 14, 14, 12, 12, 14, 12, 14, 12, 12, 11, 11, 12, 10, 10 bend, 10 bend, 12, 12, 14, 13, 12, 12, 11, 10, 7 bend, 10, 7 bend, 7 bend, 10, 7, 7 bend, 10, 9, 8, 8, 10, 12, 10, 10, 8, 10, 8, 10, 11, 12, 13. See, we want to kind of play around with that. From the solo, like, it kind of takes the place of kind of our verse and our pre-chorus and our intro progression. Then we end up back on our verse. So then we're back on the C major 7, C7, F major, F, E, D, up kind of on our pre-chorus actually again where we got the A minor, E major, G major, D major, and then we'd be going back into our intro part. So we've got the F, E flat, D, and then we go to the A, kind of like that waiting move we had earlier, and then we end up on our outro, which is just like our intro. We got the F, E flat, D, but then we play a big C at the very, very end. But that's the basics of how you can strum through Something by the Beatles. So good luck!